How individuals, groups, and organizations choose which trauma response to use. When trauma occurs to an individual, group, or organization, it needs to be appropriately recognized, processed, and integrated. When this does not occur, or the trauma is minimized by the individual or group, such as employees and/or leadership, four basic behavioral patterns emerge. Fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. How each behavior is chosen, this is an unconscious choice, not conscious, depends on a variety of factors. Past behavioral patterns is one factor. If a particular trauma response has been utilized in the past to avoid further trauma, it is reinforced in the brain, mind, and spiritual pathways of a person, group, or organization. This worked before, so let's do it again. Another factor is the environment in which the trauma occurred. Certain trauma responses are more conducive to avoiding further hurt in specific environments. In addition, what is permitted or acceptable changes according to the environment, especially when power or authority dynamics are present. For example, in an environment where the threat of physical violence is a real possibility, the fight option may not be the safest option. It might actually lead to more hurt and trauma. Flight or fawn may realistically be the better, safer choices. A third factor is immediacy of threat removal. The behavioral pattern chosen often is the one that helps a person or group of people feel safest, the quickest. And lastly, the perceived effectiveness of the trauma response when measured over time, often unconsciously, may result in behavioral change. For example, a freeze response is triggered due to a traumatic event. This behavioral response pattern may be effective for a little while. However, a person or group may determine that remaining in freeze will most likely result in further trauma. And so a change in response is needed in order to regain a sense of safety. Perhaps fight or flight is determined to be best. Sometimes behavioral patterns are only for a short length of time, a trial period. Long-term response patterns develop when they work and are therefore reinforced over time. Individual, group, and organizational operational values, not stated values, are significantly impacted by unprocessed trauma. The reality of trauma responses is that all four behavioral patterns, sometimes with two or more patterns operating at the same time, may be utilized in order to avoid further hurt. Whether for an individual, group, or organization, recognizing these trauma response patterns is the first step toward integration and healing.